Hey, random people out there on the internet. This would be the next installment on the beginner series that I'm doing, and specifically the Birdhouse, the second build. You've seen what I've done up till now. Today we're going to show you how it's going to get assembled and things. And I've done some of that assembly already. You may remember I decided to paint it gray and then kind of sand it off and give it kind of a distressed look. I originally was going to use all glue, but I decided to expedite the process by using glue and brad nails. You can get a brad nailer relatively cheap. This one I think was maybe $90 in any event. So our roof is going to come in here like this. Snap right down there. All right. So we'll go ahead and pop it on there nice and tight, best as we can, and we'll shoot a couple of brads into the blocks that I have on the inside. Hopefully I hit them. Lord knows, it's always possible that I may or may not hit exactly where I want to hit. Now, that's on there pretty good. I'll just go ahead and take a hammer and add a little bit of gentle persuasion on it. Just make sure it's down as far as it's going to go. If I don't do it now, it'll do it itself later. All right, so where are we at? Well, let's talk about that for a minute. Being the second project, I made a whole bunch of mistakes. Most newbies will. Now, to be honest with you, I think I could do better. I know I can do better. I've done a lot better work than this. But I think that the takeaway here is that it's okay to have made some mistakes. Don't point them out like I'm going to point them out to you. So let's take a look and see. First of all, when I cut my strips, I didn't cut them all at the same time, and I didn't measure anything, so there's, unevenness across it. Little ridges here and there and yonder, okay, and across the face as well. I could have done a lot better. All I had to do was make sure that I was setting my table saw correctly when I was doing my strips. Is that a mistake you might make? Maybe. Most newbies do that. And at that point, you have to make a choice. Am I going to waste the wood? Or am I going to find a way to live with it? Or is there a way to correct it? For me, I decided I want to live with it because, again, because I went with this rustic nature, all right, it doesn't really matter. Nobody cares. No, the birds don't. And when this is, up on somebody's roof or whatever, it's not like you can get up there and look real close at it. The next thing I did also was I was just going to glue it all, but to expedite it, make it quicker, I decided to use a brad nailer, which for a newbie, this is a pretty good tool to own because it will help you both in the fact that you can use brads or you can use brads to reinforce glue, which is basically what we've done here. Another mistake. The floor should have been under here, but I put it in there and it's trapped. I can't get it out. So I got to find a way to deal with this or I got to live with it. Well, that's melamine and that edge is not going to like water. So what I've decided to do, and I've got it out in my paint shop, is I cut a little piece. It's going to stick out like this. And basically it's going to look like a little perch for them to land on to enter the birdhouse. In any event, not very pretty. A lot of mistakes. I could get discouraged and say, you know what, maybe this isn't for me. And if you get to that point, well, it is what it is. Now, in the end of the video here, I said that I would probably let you guys know what all I used to make this particular birdhouse. All right, we started with a bunch of strips that I cut out of the worst piece of 2x4 you could possibly imagine. And that's how I got the panels. I would have probably thrown away that 2x4 because it was really, really, really messed up. Then I also ended up using, and I don't think I have a piece of it here, piece of 2x2 about this long. In addition to the 2x4 I started with, I used a piece of melamine that I just happened to have laying around. This is the stuff that's in the floor right there. Okay. And I used some cutoffs I had from another project so that I could reinforce my roof. In any event, here you have it. Not particularly pretty, not the best work I've ever done. But again, I'm trying to help people to understand. As you go along, your first couple of projects may not look as nice as you'd like them to. You're going to find that you're going to make mistakes. You're going to find things that you wish you would have done better. But that's okay. With the minimal number of tools that we used, and we're going to show that in a minute, then you're kind of limited as to just how well you can do something. You can do better than this with the tools that we used. So let's look at the tools we used. So first of all, we used the table saw. Okay, you can see it's still set at 22.5 where I cut the ridge for the roof. We used the miter saw. We used the brad nailer I just talked about. We used a jigsaw. We used some glue. And you know what? That's about all we used. We did all this with just a minimal amount of tools. In the coming videos, I'm going to start expanding my tool collection, as it were. Now, I own a lot of different tools, but I've allowed myself to grow this according to not just what I want, but what would have made this easier, what would have made it easier, okay? We could have had a planer to go ahead and plane all this wood so it was nice and even and flat, and we wouldn't have went with what appears to be this rough look with the distressing of the material to make it look like it's old. We could have painted it red, white, and blue, or green or yellow. The birds don't care, all right? Whoever you're getting or doing this for, whether it's yourself or somebody else, may or may not care, all right? I'm not selling it. If I wanted to, I could probably sell it for about 20 bucks. I've seen a whole lot worse stuff at Hobby Lobby for 20 bucks, 30 bucks. And I did it for one 2x4 that was maybe $3, piece of 2x2 that was maybe $1. So I've got $4 invested here as far as material goes. Because again, being a beginner means using what you have or what you can get your hands on inexpensively so that you can get your hands around the tools. Nothing is more important as you begin to grow your hobby or your craft than learning how to use the tools you have. Then again, when you see things where, I could do better with this, I could do better with that, but I don't have the right tool, that's when you can go ahead and start shopping around for tools. I will give a shout out to a number of YouTubers that I have watched in the past. You have Steve Ramsey over at Woodworking for Mere Mortals. You have Matt Outlaw, who does some great tool reviews over at 731 Woodworking. There's Lincoln, there's 3x3, there's Katz Moses. There's a bunch of the really, really good woodworkers out there who can turn you on to doing some really great crafts. So I don't want to take credit for what I've learned, like I just sat here and learned it. I studied a lot on the YouTube channels. But I think that what makes mine different is that I'm showing you how to do it slowly but surely with a minimal amount of tools and inexpensive materials so that you can get into it. Once you get into it, I would highly recommend, looking around on the internet, see some of these great woodworkers out there. However, I caution you not to be overly influenced, because many of them, not all of those that I named, but many of them are sponsored. I'm not sponsored. It's just me and my little shop. That's all it is. And I'm not trying to, oh, you got to be a Patreon or whatever. I mean, if you want to send me money, by all means, send me money. But that's not what we're doing here. I'm not going to, be sponsored. Obviously, nobody's going to want to sponsor a small shop like mine, and that's fine. I'm not looking to make any money. I'm looking to enjoy my craft and share my experience with you, so that there's a chance that you're going to start to feel that good feeling inside you get, the satisfaction you get from taking something and making something and knowing that you did this. And your friends, your family, they'll appreciate these crafts that you give to them as you work your way through it. If you're in this to make some money and whatnot, again, I really recommend that you check out some of those people that are showing you how to grow a business. I'm not trying to grow a business. I'm trying to enjoy the craft. So if you are of like mind, continue watching. We're going to have some more builds coming up that are going to start being considerably more complex and hopefully a lot nicer when we finish them. So thank you to my cameraman, which is my son Lewis, and thank you, those people who have subscribed to my channel and view my videos and keep up with me. Thanks for the comments. I appreciate that. I really appreciate the subscriptions. In any event, I want for all of you to have a great Halloween, which is tomorrow, and as always, stay safe.